per day. A barrel of crude oil is about 159 liters of crude oil. And the Senate Committee has said the PIA Act, Petroleum Industry Act, will not work except we have the collaboration of the host communities. And joining us this morning, we have members of the oil and gas producing and families and communities in Egiland. I have with me here DK Hobson. DK is of the oil and gas producing and family and communities, actually the chairman of the oil and gas producing families and communities in Egiland. DK, good morning and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And also joining us on the show this morning, Ugochukwu Erikowa is the President General, Egi People's Assembly. And thank you so much for joining us, Ugochukwu Erikowa.
Thank you very much, Shegun.
Let me start with you. I learned you're now a high chief.
Yeah, I'm a high chief.
Oh my God. Anyway, for those of you who know him very well, he's a very popular entrepreneur in the entertainment sector in River State, a very big one, of the Paul and Silas fame. Am I correct?
You're correct.
So right now you are a high chief, and we quite appreciate you joining us. But again, let us look at this very, very critical issue. Now, one issue I would like us to start from. There was a report about 7 days ago concerning sabotage of Aji pipeline in Obroba. Am I correct? Is that
Oboboro in Egi Kingdom.
Oboboro in Egi Kingdom. And from what we know is that fire is still burning at the site of the sabotage of oil pipeline. Now, let's start from that. What has been done? Maybe I'm going to start with Hobson, DK Hobson. What has been done so far since the news broke about the sabotage of that oil pipeline?
Well, up till now that we're speaking, nothing has been done, and the fire is still ravaging that part of Obobmo community in Egeland. And we are calling on the management of Ajib Oil Company to set up a committee to go and investigate what has happened there. And the environment has been polluted. The entire Egen Kingdom has been polluted as a result of that fire on the Ajib pipeline. So nothing has been done. The fire is still on as we speak.
Now, from our own local investigation, we discovered that it was a deliberate sabotage. That's what we investigated. And of course, we know that the relevant investigating authorities have not done anything yet. But again, tell us, was it actually a deliberate sabotage?
Well, I cannot specifically confirm that allegation since we have not visited the scene of the incident because the fire is still very high. Until we are able to conduct a very forensic investigation on it, we can't confirm whether it was sabotage or a result of a leakage from their pipeline.
So again, well, that pipeline, actually we gather is an Ajib oil pipeline. And from what we gather, no clamping has been done. NOSRA has not visited. Maybe, Ugochukwu, you want to come in here. How do you feel, you as the President General of the Egi People's Assembly, how do you feel that we still have that massive fire burning in the area and nothing has been done?
The fire is devastating. It's bad. I've sent some local security people to go check out what's really happened there. But you know their result will not be definitely the same as professionals from Ajib and Egi people meeting together to go see on-site assessment of what really happened there. But the fire is on, and for the first time in Egi Kingdom, we are experiencing black soot. Soot is all over the place. As you come outside, put your table or chair outside, in less than 2 minutes, touch that table, you see soot on it. It's on as I speak today. For about 7 days now, this has been on, and the fire is still on. If you look up towards Oboboro axis, you'll see the black smoke still going up, meaning the fire is still burning.
And this is sad. This is at a time that Nigeria is losing a huge amount of revenue. The quota for the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Country, about 1.8 million barrels per day. We are not meeting it. And again, from what the Senate committee said to us, that Nigeria is losing over $2.1 billion. That is about 872 billion as a result of oil theft. Yet we have this massive issue going on. And again, we're talking about the Petroleum Industry Act and the community people. Again, don't you think, again, we are deceiving ourselves? Yeah, you should be able to speak about that because you are from the oil-producing community.
For me, my issue is clear. Egi is a model in as much as host communities are concerned. Egi is an exceptional place. Right from the onset, where you talk about both fire, you talk about oil theft, Egi is not involved.
How have you been able to achieve that?
Yeah, because Egi is an organized state where you have all the sectors functional. You have the Egi People's Assembly, you have the oil and gas producing families and communities, you have the EYF, that's Egi Youth Federation, you have the EWA, Egi Women Welfare Association, you have the Pipeline Organization, you have the Council of Chiefs, you have all these institutions functioning. As we speak, we also have our local security. Thumbs up for them. The OSPAC, they are putting in their best. So Egi, in as much as I know, there is no camp where you have pot cooking of one drop of oil. In all these periods that people have been talking, fire, Egi is a model. Nothing like that.
That's a very good one to hear, to say that your people are not involved in sabotaging the oil pipeline. But again, we still have issue, and we have the issue coming from this Ajib pipeline in Obobra, I'm correct on that pronunciation, which is still burning right now. So would you say it's as a result of the ruptured pipeline or aging pipeline? And again, for you, despite all your what you are doing to ensure that your people are not involved in sabotaging the nation's economic resources, do you still feel disappointed that no response has come to you?
For me, we've not ascertained the cause.
Okay.
It could be corrosion, it could be ruptured, it could also be sabotage. But until we get to that spot and know exactly what has happened, but I don't think it's a fire business. No, it could be a different thing, but we need to go there. We're calling on Ajib to make, hey, come fast and talk with the community so that we'll go see what has happened to their pipeline and know the necessary solution. They should clamp the pipe and stop whatever flow that is there so that the fire can stop.
Now, I want to come to Hope Senior, because you are the chairman of the oil producing families. Again, we've had several issues, and I'm going to relate quickly to what is happening in Boda community, where there seems to be no relationship between the host communities and the multinationals. When you look at the issue that just happened on the Trans-Niger pipeline, talk to us about your relationship and your host community. Maybe you might also want to join in here. You want to the president of EGP. But first, how would you describe the relationship between the host community and the multinational operating in your area?
Well, the multinational operating in our area is Total Energies.
Yeah.
And we have a very robust and healthy working relationship with them. Even though we have couples of disagreements on issues of policy, implementation, and in terms of MOA implementation, and our community relation engagement is very, very, very solid. And I think other oil companies should come and copy the relationship model between Total Energy and Egi people. It's not a perfect relationship, it's like a marriage. No matter how lovely your marriage is, how you love your marriage, how you love your wife, there must be issues of disagreement.
So tell us some of these issues that you're still finding difficult to resolve. Because we know, for example, in some other part, and I hate to keep referring to the Ogoni Axis, but again, that seems to be the biggest one. And right now at the moment, there is a breakdown. They talk about absence of livelihood, and they talk about even failure of communication between the host community and the multinational. So you talk to us. What are some of the challenges, despite what you call the near perfect symmetry between you and the multinational operating in your region?
Well, the basic point is that sometimes as a community, you needed something to be done at a particular moment. And because of the bureaucracy within the internal mechanism of the company, it's not happening at the time you needed it to happen. For example, maybe you want scholarship and skills to be paid on due time, and they are not being paid at the time you expected it to be paid. These are the issues. You expected POs for community contracts to be released on a fast lane. They are not being released. These are issues of bureaucracy that we're facing with the company. But in terms of our communication with the company, we'll have a solid communication channel with the company.
Okay, I will come to Gochuku. I will still come back to Gochuku. I know that just recently, not about 4 or 5 months, you became the president. Am I correct?
No, a year plus now.
A year plus now. You became the president of Egi People's Assembly. And this is a very critical position. Critical in the sense that you're also responsible for each of the livelihood of people of your area and also the development and moving forward that area. He has just said, well, you seem to have good relationship with the oil multinationals, but again, there are challenges. So how are you handling this?
These challenges are clear. Like our request is direct. They talk of local content in terms of their services. They talk of community content. We need them to look into this area deliberately. See how the community can do those services some professionals come to do, because at this time we have trained ourselves over time. Some of our youths, some of our experts have worked with them. So they should look inward to see how these services can be given to community personnel to handle directly so that it will strengthen the relationship we have with them. For Total, we have a strong and good relationship with them. It's called partnership. That's the language we use if we meet them. But we are requesting that the services that they get from some professionals outside, we have experts that can do them now. They should narrow down to this so that the empowerment can trickle down very well to the community.
So what I hear you say is that, well, right now, despite the good relationship, many of the jobs that are coming there are still being done by experts.
Yes.
And that's really disturbing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. But you have to do that deliberately, because if you're not conscious and request, it will elude you. We are consciously requesting for that now, that major services should be given to community people to handle, because they can do them now.
Well, fantastic. You're listening to Point Blank, and we're looking at issues relating to oil and gas protection and the oil and gas host communities. And right now, we're speaking to members of the Egi Axis in River State. Gochuku Orikoa is here. He's the President General, Egi People's Assembly. And Dike Hobson Dike is also here. He's the Chairman of Oil and Gas Producing Families and Communities. Now, a disturbing story happening from the Axis is that an Ajib oil pipeline in Obobram in Egiland is already has already been ruptured. Well, whatever you want to call it. Some people have described it as a deliberate sabotage. But the present situation is that 7 days after that case was reported, fire is still on at the site. And this is a very disturbing situation to the people of Egiland, and they are feeling the effect of the heavy fire still going on at the site of the pipeline. And more disturbing is the fact that the relevant agencies, NOSRA and others, have not visited the area to clamp the leakage that is going on, and this is affecting the people. And though the people have said that they have a very good relationship with the oil multinationals operating in the area, and they can also boast to say that there is no issue of oil sabotage or oil stealing in their area. But again, they have so much to say concerning the issue of the PI Act, that is Petroleum Industry Act, and how it affects the host communities and what more can be done to ensure that the host communities benefit from the oil and gas resources in their domain. And I'm speaking to these two gentlemen. I will open the telephone lines for some contribution, and I will come back talking more to them. And this is Point Blank. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry, I didn't get your name, sir. Could you just tell us your name?
My name is Susie. I'm calling from a Rema community.
Good. From a Rema community.
Yeah. I actually want to and acknowledge my rights in the studio. I'm also on the agreement, and by fact, there are no place in land where you see the buffer over time from the community, a youth from the community. Do you know all very things that have been happening over with the oil situation in our country? Even the minister of has also a kind of things about how oil companies, instead of keeping word to tackle the ruptured pipe, they now acknowledge it on the part of the fact that people are now sabotaging them. And use that as part of litigation against the host community. So this in again, there is no place where you can find anybody doing oil bunkering. There has been peace in again. The leadership in this community have held sway on issue concerning the conciliation of issues within the oil companies and all of that, mostly Total. There is no area in again where you see people doing oil bunkering. The issue here is that the government and the oil companies have also taken advantage of these villages and then do not want to do things. What they need to do, these pipelines have been there for more than 40, 50 years. What they need to do is to revamp this pipeline and change the pipes as it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Just like what my brother has said to you.
Well, fantastic.
Thank you
And that's a very big allegation against even the multinationals themselves. Now, we may not be able to take all of your calls. A lot of people are trying to call us. Now, you can send us comments on our Facebook page. On our Facebook page, it is Point Blank on Facebook. Send us Super 93.3 FM Facebook. Send us your comment, and we'll read out all of the comments. Let me just take this one. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Point Blank.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
This is Lugaman calling you all the way from a chair.
Lugaman, good morning.
Yes, I carefully listened to your guests. They have spoken the way they understand. But for me, as one who moves around, looks and crannies of River State, I discovered that what is happening in our pipeline is economic sabotage. The communities knows who these boys are and what they are up to. Please, remember in Budo City, oil spills took place 2 times in a month. And I begin to wonder, is this same oil pipeline that passes through Eche, of which we have not had anything like a pipeline explosion? In Eche, we have so many oil wells in Eche, and we have so many pipes that passes through Eche. But we have not had anything like that. So for me, I am putting it to the community leader that they should look inward.
Okay.
Ask their people questions.
Well, thank you so much, Lugaman. Again, you have described what is going on along the RG pipeline. RG pipeline has economic sabotage, but they are saying that they don't believe it is economic sabotage because it has not been investigated. Let's take more call now. Good morning.
Yeah, Shagun, good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, my name is J.A.J. and I'm calling you from Port Harcourt.
J.A.J., good morning.
First, I will greet your guests in the studio, especially the popular one, Man Polo or Man Salas. I remember you. But the time you were doing that and now not be the same again. Boys have turned to men. You are now a big chief. I saw you in your village sometimes ago when I was in your village, but you didn't see me. But that being said, Shagun, when you have this type of complaints and incidents, the first question that comes to my mind is, the company that operate that line, that facility, when was the last time they carry out integrity tests on their facilities? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. If you carry out integrity tests, show all the certificates. Some of those pipes, some of those facilities are worn out. But because of greed, because of profits they want to make, they will not shut down for maintenance. Ordinary sectional replacement, they will not do. All they will do is to come clamp, and the next point will just burst off, and that's all. It's just like when you have so much pressure and the whole stuff cannot take it again. What happened? If you clamp here and this place is strong, the other place will rupture. That was the same thing that happened in Bodo. So as far as I'm concerned, it is not about the people. It is about the companies themselves that have refused to take care of their facility. If that facility, like you said, is run by AGIP, you can drive through some of their, what they call right-of-way. You even see the pipe on the surface. You drive through the pipes. How come they cannot come and they have people that are supposed, they have contracts that are supposed to do surveillance, that are supposed to cover up those things. They don't do it and they get paid. And this whole money is like a gang that they share among themselves, for goodness sake. So as far as I'm concerned, conclusively, I think the company should come, survey that situation, and due compensation, just like the one they did in the Gulf of Mexico, pay to the people so that the people can also continue in their good people. So for me, let them do the right thing and go climb that place and pay compensation to those whose farmland have been destroyed. It's not a sabotage from the community, but their own undoing for not doing the right thing. And those that are checking them does not even call them to carry out integrity tests on their facility. Thank you very much.
JJ, and thank you so much indeed. And let me come back to the gentleman in the studio here, to Mr. DK and also to Gochuko. Now, you've told us about a smooth relationship existing between you and the multinational. Have you been able to explore this smooth relationship to get to them, particularly concerning this leakage that we're having in Nobobrum?
The relationship is with Total Energies.
Okay, not with Ajib.
Ajib pipe just passed. If it is a Total pipe, I know by now they should be doing something serious. And we are calling on Ajib to at least do something. We need them now. The suit is bad before it will lead to health-related issues.
But what are your people saying? I know you represent your people, but again, are we feeling that desire amongst your people?
Definitely. They've cried to us. Before you see us come to the studio to shout, we've also done letters to Ajib for them to respond immediately because it's really devastating. For the first time since ever all these things have been happening in the Niger Delta, that suit is seen in Agiland. No, we've not seen it, but it's been experienced today.
Well, again, from what you've said so far, Ege seems to be to live above board, and you are also even urging all oil some oil producing community to come copy what Ege is doing, because you seem to have put in place a very fantastic process in place to ensure your relationship. But again, at this point, what would Ege people be demanding? Are you just demanding an investigation of what's going on and the stopping of the fire, or more? For example, in Ogoniland, the people of Bodo are demanding 40 million naira per resident of the area affected. So for you, what are your demands?
Our demand is they come stop first.
Okay.
We'll engage them because the environment is devastated already. We'll engage them. Whatever processes that is required, we'll follow all due process to make sure that if they are to pay, they will pay. Ege is an organized state. We know what to do, but the first thing is stop it. If we leave the fire that is boiling in our house to chase demands, I think we are getting it wrong. They should come, stop the fire, stop what's happening. If they stop it, yes, we'll put them in the round table to discuss how best, because what is being destroyed is people's farm.
And this is great. And a while ago, again, I'm also interested in that. While you were speaking, you talked about the roadmap for Agiland, the roadmap for development in Agiland. I'm interested in that because, again, when you begin to talk about roadmap for development, you are not government and you don't have the authority of government. So talk to us about this roadmap.
Thank you very much. This roadmap is unique. When we say we have a good relationship with Total Energies, it's clear. As I speak to you today, again, we have light 24 hours non-stop. Unless they are servicing any line, they will even inform you that for 3-4 hours there will be no light. As we speak today, our waters are unique. They treat them as at when due. We also have road network. So when I talk about roadmap, this is an avenue to say whoever it is that is a businessman, that power is your problem, road network is your problem, water is your problem. Come to Ege Land and invest. Ege is open. We'll give you.
Okay, you're a big commercial now. you're a big commercial. You're doing marketing right now.
That's the roadmap. Because when you talk about development, what are the incentives? We have these incentives in Ege Kingdom. So the roadmap is we are ready to develop and we have the manpower. Over years, we've been enjoying scholarships. If you come to Ege and take statistics of the number of academic doctors in Ege Kingdom, my brother, it will marvel you. If you talk about the professors and all that, master's degree, I think we pack them.
So this is a case whereby the CSR between oil multinational and the community people is working.
Yeah, it's working to a reasonable extent. But like Oliver Twist, do you ever want more? We need more. Each time we engage them, we want more, but we recognize they are trying.
But again, let us look at the PIA Act again. The PIA Act has stipulated that any damage done on oil pipeline passing through some host community, the host community will be held responsible for that. How are you viewing this?
It's wrong. It's very, very wrong. But like I will say, the PIA is like they served you food that is covered. You can't just say you reject this food or you eat it until you open it. The PIA has not started, but the processes to make it start is on. If it kickstarts and it's something that will work for the community, it's fine. If it won't work, we'll send our protest to the government because an act should be what should benefit the people and make them better. The PIA should be better than the regular MOUs we've been having. But if it's not better, we'll shout to the government to make sure it meets up or beats the agreements we've been having with companies.
Now, Hobson, you want to say something on that? Yes, just come.
Yes, for me, the PIA is a disservice to Ege people. As a people, the worst thing that has happened to Ege people is the PIA. The MOU or agreement regime we have enjoyed with the company over years is not a perfect situation, but it's more better than the stick approach that the federal government has given us, poisoned in the name of the PIA. Because if you look at the structures of the PIA and what is bringing on the table, it is nowhere to be compared to what we used to have in terms of the contents in the MOU. Because looking at 3%, what is the value of the 3%? It's a challenge. And looking forward, the danger inherent in the PIA will be something that if the government and the multinational do not manage it with care, will become so dangerous that operations of the oil industry will collapse. The issue of putting the responsibility of policing their pipelines on the head of the community is the worst mistake they have made.
Well, again, that's a very critical point, and I also wanted to talk about the issue of oil or gas, because you see, the PIA talked about the issue relating to gas, while it makes it illegal on the issue of gas flaring. It, however, did not state when gas flaring will come to an end, because I also know that you're a major producer of gas.
Yes.
Like I said, the PIA, we are still studying it. Even the government that have put it in place, they are still reviewing the papers. When we see review, if there are things that will be amended, we will package it and send it back to government for amendment. But I tell you of the fact that all sectors, including the community, we are still studying the PIA, what it holds for us, and what dangers in it, and what benefit in it that's also inherent in it.
You know, you have talked about the beautiful relationship you have in your area, that is in Egiland, that is the host communities and the oil-producing communities with the multinationals. Again, I'm looking at the key issue in the PIA, which is the framework for the utilization of the 30% of NNPC profit from oil exploration in the so-called frontier basins. Do you think this would work well with the arrangement you already have existing in Egiland?
Our arrangement we have is good. That's the normal agreement.
Okay.
But for the PIA, like we speak here now, nobody will tell you it contains 1 naira or 10 kobo until we'll test it. Like I said, if you open the food, whatever content that is in it, we can now say no, we object to it. If there's any improvement that will come on it, we will tell the government to review. We have the right. As it stands, Egi is peaceful because there's a cordial relationship. When the relationship breaks down, it will be difficult to manage. And we'll tell the government, the area they are bringing policies that will bring us down, we'll say no. We'll talk to them, and I know they will listen to us as Egi people.
Well, fantastic. We'll just take the last set of calls, and again, we begin to round up this show right now. You're listening to Point Blank, coming to you from Super 93.3 FM Port Harcourt, and we have two gentlemen in the studio. Ugochukwu Orikoa is the President General of Egi People's Assembly, and Chief DK Hobson DK is the Chairman of the Oil and Gas Producing Families and Communities. Recently, the Senate visited the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on the stealing of Nigeria's crude oil, visited some oil-producing communities in Nigeria, particularly River State, and it said for the success in the fight against stealing of the nation's crude oil, communities hosting these multinationals must be involved. And they're asking, what can the communities do? And we're looking at the example of Egiland, where they seem to have a very fantastic arrangement on ground in protecting the nation asset. But again, there is a troubling situation, which is the leakage coming in from an Ajib oil pipeline in Obobrom in that axis, and that pipeline has been on fire for 7 days. The people are calling for investigation into the situation that led to the leakage. And of course, they've removed the fact that it could be as a result of sabotage. And they say their people are not involved in sabotaging the oil facilities. Again, we'll talk a little bit more quickly. Let me take this call. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Point Blank.
Yeah, good morning once again, Pastor Shegun.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Chief Comrade Iambre.
Chief Briggs, good morning.
Yeah, Shegun, for me, when you talk about oil spill, I think really most of this pipeline is being ruptured. Some of this pipeline is being put at the early 40s, 1940s, 1950s to now, and sometimes there is no maintenance. Sometimes some of this pipe, as I speak with you, vehicle drift on top is on the surface. Now, there are erosion here and there. Sometimes there is no good protection on these pipes. And when it happens, they will come in, the company, instead of doing the needful, they will shout sabotage. And that sabotage, the communities will react. And when the community reacts, federal government will come in and also bulldoze the communities. And that is what we're expecting in this part of the world. Look at the border spill. Up to this moment, the relevant agency has not swung into action for any intervention for the communities. And that is very bad, Shegun. So as a community, again, people have said that they have good cordial relationship with Total. Well, that should also replicate to the Ajib. The Ajib should also replicate that to even other oil installations, other communities, as to create peace.
We lost Chief Iambre. Thank you so much, but let's take this one. Good morning.
Yes, Pastor Shegun, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Pastor Shegun, good. My name is Belgium. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Belgium, good morning.
Yes, Pastor Shegun, I won my heart in university as a classical journalist. I remember the one year I still remember in Mabega, in the Silver Belt. We made journalism what it is today in university. In particular, I'm telling you. I remember your viewpoint. I remember the way you mobilize people here and there in journalism, like the Tony Nicolede, Yannick Kongwa, and the Offerimeko. So many of them, various places, during the election, blow to blow, one-on-one, people getting what they need. And thank God none of them lost their life. I want you to repeat the same thing in Super FM. They have come to Super FM. I've seen that the radio in the Super FM is very loud and clear, very beautiful to listen to. So tell them, say, I commend you so much to what you do in university. I know you talk a lot of things this morning for me to contribute, but I want to tell you that you've done your lot and you need to do more. God will bless you in university. Thank you. My name is Belgium.
Well, thank you so much, Belgium, and thank you so much for those accolades. But let me just come back to the gentleman in the studio. Now, we're rounding up now. For you, the President General, AG People's Assembly, first, what more would you want to see from your people? You've praised your people so far, and you praised the cordial relationship they have with the multinationals. But of course, we cannot say everything is 100%. You've talked about the roadmap to development. What more would you want to see from your people?
What I would want to say now is, we've heard about the contract they're talking about in pipeline. Would want it to be narrowed down, because we in AGI, we have our structure.
Okay.
And it will be fair, and it will be fair for them to see how best these local contents that have done this much, that there is no fire in AGI Kingdom, should be directly carried along. In Omok sector, we have the Trace Guard and companies that are also doing great. We have the OSPAC working very well to make sure that there is no stealing or any vandal within AGI Kingdom. We need them to be encouraged. If there is anything they need to do, they should narrow down these structures to come down so that the people that are already working and is working be compensated and encouraged through payment. Because what I'm saying now, if there's any external factor that will come infiltrate in Ege Kingdom, we don't know how we'll manage that situation. Because what we have on ground is working.
Fantastic, fantastic. And let me just get quickly, Hobson, if you just do it in 1 minute. Yeah, so what more are you expecting as the chairman of the oil and gas producing families and communities? What more are you expecting from your people? You said to us that you can beat your chest to say no more fire.
Well, we expect my people to keep the good work they are doing in terms of not engaging in this act of criminality. Again, producing families and communities has been very up and doing in terms of not engaging in the pipeline vandalization or the issue of what we call the illegal refinery. And the companies and other security agencies can attest that again is a kingdom that is supposed to be respected, encouraged, and appreciated by both the multinational, the local government, state, and the federal government for keeping the peace, for keeping the operations to be very peaceful. And I expect my people to keep on this good work and this good name.
Fantastic, and that's very, very good. But again, I can't allow you to go, High Chief Ugochukwu Orikoa. I cannot allow you to go, or should I call you Silas Mamen, without you talking about entertainment. I mean, you're one of the biggest entrepreneurs in entertainment in River State. I mean, you can't just leave entertainment like that. What are you doing next?
That's called to duty to serve
So
my people.
you'll be called to duty now?
Yeah, once I'm done with the service to my people,
You go back to entertainment?
Entertainment is part of me. But I will use this medium to say, Shegun, you are a pillar in River State.
Thank you so much.
You are a great man. You are wonderful. You are a driver, in as much as this business is concerned.
Thank you so much.
Keep the good work up. Keep it up.
Thank you so much. And that is High Chief Ugochukwu Orikoa, who is the President General, Ege People's Assembly. We want to thank you sincerely, sir, for coming to the Point Blank this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
And also, I must also say a big thank you to DK Hobson DK, who is the chairman of the Ege Oil and Gas Producing Families and Communities. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you so much for having us here.
Fantastic.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. And that's it on Point Blank this morning. Thank you so much for staying tuned and for being part of the show. Join us next week for another edition of Point Blank. Good morning.